If you have ever wondered what PHP is, where it came from, and what it's used for nowadays, you're in the right place. Alright, so first things first. PHP stands for Hypertext Preprocessor. Quite a mouthful, right? But no worries, we'll just stick with PHP for short. By the way, did you know that PHP did not always stand for Hypertext Preprocessor? The acronym actually had a totally different meaning when it was created. More on that later. In a nutshell, PHP is a scripting language that's used for creating dynamic web pages. You know those interactive features on websites like forms, user logins, and those cute cat GIFs? Yep, PHP plays a huge role in making them happen. In 2023, roughly 77 to 80% of all websites are built on or use PHP. The exact number is impossible to know, as the sources calculate this differently, and there are always websites that we don't know of, for example, private or internal websites and or applications. But how did PHP come to be? Well, rewind back to the mid 90s, a time when the internet was still finding its feet. In 1994, this guy named Rasmus Lerdorf created the first version of PHP as a way to track visits to his online resume. Back then, it was known as PHP FI, which was an acronym for Personal Homepage Forms Interpreter. 1 year later, on June the 8th, 1995, PHP FI 1.0 was officially released, also known under the name Personal Homepage Tools, on a Usenet discussion group. But it did not stop there. Developers saw the potential and a team began to form. In 1997, PHP evolved into a full blown web development language with the release of PHP FI 2.0. During this development, work was already making progress for the next release. In the same year, Zeev Suraski and Andi Gutmans rewrote the parser, which would form the base of PHP 3. Roughly a year later, on June the 8th, 1998, PHP 3 was released. The official PHP acronym changed from Personal Homepage to PHP Hypertext Preprocessor to reflect its growing capabilities. This version could be considered the first official PHP version as a programming language. Suraski and Goodmans started a new rewrite of the PHP core in 1998, resulting in the first version of the Zend engine in 1999. On May 22nd, 2000, PHP 4 was released, powered by the first Zend engine version released a year earlier, with a more advanced object-oriented programming model, better performance, and improved memory management. This version cements PHP's status as a popular web development language. PHP 5 was released 4 years after PHP 4, on July 1st, 2004, and marks the beginning of an era dominated by PHP on the web. PHP 5 was a complete rewrite of the language core. It also introduced Zend Engine 2, which would greatly improve performance and add robust support for object-oriented programming. This version of PHP currently holds the crown for longest running major version of PHP, starting from its release on July 1st, 2004, and its last release and discontinuation on December 31st, 2008, an astonishing 14 and a half years. Before we continue, remember to subscribe if you're interested in this kind of content and be notified when we release a new video. We are also working on a complete guide to PHP programming, so make sure you don't miss out on that. PHP 6 was in development around 2005 to bring Unicode support to PHP, but due to the lack of support from the developers and performance problems resulting in delays. Most non-Unicode features were later backported from PHP 6 to PHP 5.3. The PHP 6 project was officially abandoned in March 2010. On December 3rd, 2005, PHP 7 was released. Yes, that was 4 years before PHP 5 got discontinued. Because PHP 5 was so popular and widely used, they kept it running for roughly 4 years while already developing and releasing PHP 7 versions. While PHP 5 was extremely popular, PHP 7 brought some game changing features. Its engine's internal architecture was redesigned and brought Engine 3, resulting in a dramatic reduction in memory usage, 2 times performance boost, and consistent 64-bit support. At last, on November 26, 2020, PHP 8 got released including Engine 4. This version included not only game-changing features, but also literally breaking changes from older versions, meaning that upgrading from PHP 7 to 8 was not always easy and often required an entire rewrite of the PHP application or website. But this was all for good cause, as PHP 8 also brought the JIT compiler, also known as just-in-time compiler. This resulted in performance boost in certain use cases. As of PHP 7, the developers are a lot more consistent with the release schedule of PHP. Each minor version of each major version is supported for a total of 3 years. The first two are active support, and one is security support, before reaching end of life. Meaning there is also an overlap of 1 year, or 2 if you include the security support, between each minor version, giving you that 1 year time to adjust your programming to the next minor version. If your website or application is too big to adjust within that year, I would recommend skipping the next minor version and going straight to the one following that, as it would be released already during the security support year of your current version. Fast forward to today, and PHP is practically everywhere on the web. As mentioned before, roughly 77 to 80% on the web is built on or uses PHP. From e-commerce sites to social media platforms, content management systems like WordPress, and even backend services. PHP got its hands in a lot of digital pies. Its flexibility, ease of use, and massive community of developers have kept it relevant all these years. Nowadays, it's hard to think of an internet without PHP. It started as a simple tool for tracking online visits and turned into a powerhouse for web development. It's versatile, it's widely used, and it's here to stay. Well, the more you know, right? Thanks for watching. If you have anything to talk about the history of PHP that I did not mention, leave them down below in the comments. I would love to read them. And while you're down there, smash that like button and consider subscribing and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. This is still a new and growing channel, so if you're interested in helping us grow, consider supporting us on Patreon. The link is down in the description below. See you in the next video. Goodbye.